They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Or are they? Welcome back to Ronnie Fragrances. When I was looking at my analytics, it looks like about 85 to 90% of you are not subscribed. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Even if you don't like the video, like and subscribe anyway. It'll help get this video out to somebody who actually does want to see the content. Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Since Imagination came on the scene, it has really taken the fragrance world by storm. So much that a lot of other fragrance brands try to clone this DNA. The citron, the bergamot, the orange, the neroli, the ginger, the cinnamon, the black tea, ambroxan gaiac wood, and albanium really has been an amazing part of my collection and a lot of other people's collection. But the bad thing about it is it has Louis Vuitton on it. So you already know that it is way too expensive. And with that high expense come high expectations. One decent sprayer, not the best that I've had, but it smells amazing and it lasts a long time, especially for a freshie. But have other fragrances cloned it properly? Let's find out. The first one to challenge Louis Vuitton's Imagination's greatness is Haramain's Aqua Dubai. Now I have all of these in samples because if it ain't worth it, I'm not going to buy the bottle and I'm not going to tell you to buy the bottle. I'm on my handy dandy phone here to break everything down, but just from the notes do not look the same. You have bergamot, green notes, orange, which is in there, amber, melon, blackcurrant, pineapple, musk, petitgrain, I think that's galbium, and vanilla. So naturally, with those notes, it does not look that it'll make sense. But let's go ahead and spray this on the test strip and see exactly how close this is. So, and where I get these samples at, I'm gonna have in the description, pressurized sprays on all of their samples is freaking amazing. Now, this right here from the first initial spray, what you're gonna get is more of that really fresh and clean deodorant. That does not mean it's a bad thing. I actually have worn this myself from this sample and it smells great and I have gotten a compliment on it, but it's not really imagination, it's more imaginative, if you get what I'm saying. It smells great. Longevity on this fragrance, I got about 7 hours. So trust me, I'm getting a bottle of this as a freshie just to wear, but I'm not going to wear it as Imagination. It has a similar DNA, kind of like in the sense of you have Mont Blanc Explorer and Creed Aventus. You can tell the DNA is there, but they're not the same, but they're close. And this is one of those things. On the dry down, when I do wear it, I get a lot more musk and that pineapple starts to come through. So it's like they mixed Imagination, Tea for Two, and Creed Aventus together and made this beauty. It's not a bad fragrance at all. I do recommend it, but it's only about 80% there when it comes to a clone of Imagination. Just the DNA, but not the scent. Next up, we have Game of Spades Full House. The sad thing about Game of Spades Full House, I really couldn't find a really natural note breakdown of it. So we're going to smell it and I'm gonna break down what I think is in it, right? So few sprays on the test strip here, and I've had Full House before. Now, Full House is closer to Imagination, but there's more green. There's more green notes in it. Kind of like a morning dew on top of the tea, on top of the citruses. I wouldn't even say this is citron. This leans more bergamot. Citron, from my understanding, is an expensive note to replicate. So this is more of that bergamot, orange, green note, morning dew, a little bit of black currant. This one is closer than the Haramain, but it is no cigar. By no means, it's not a bad fragrance, but the longevity on my skin is this is only about 4.5, 5 hours. So naturally, it is a freshie, and that's not a bad thing, but I would do Haramain being more of his own thing than Game of Spades Full House. Not saying it's a bad fragrance, but it's not Imagination. It's close to it on the dry down. That's where the 92% comes in on the dry down. But you can smell the differences once you done use it a few times and it settles on skin. the Red Sands by Zara. Now, this here is a great cheapie. And we have a Zara that's coming around here in my local town, and I will be testing it out. But for this particular video, let's test this out. This is the furthest away. Honestly, this is the furthest away. This one has a very potent mango note. To me, this is like if you were to mix God of Fire and Imagination, which I have done a layer on that. It's actually really, really nice. But this right here smells like that layer of those two. Not a bad fragrance at all. This is the furthest away. This is only about maybe about 50% because like I said, it's a layer of both in my opinion. But it smells great. It's freaking amazing. Very unisex, very unisex. My wife has worn this fragrance and I have worn this fragrance. And it smells a little bit different. On her, she gets a little bit more tangerine, like a cutie smell. And mango, I get heavier mango and like a little bit of like a blood orange on my skin. Very, very crazy how people's pHs work when it comes to these fragrances. But it's a really, really, really great fragrance as itself, not as a clone of Imagination. I wouldn't even call this a clone. I don't even know how this even got considered in that conversation. But this is really, really great fragrance if you want to just smell different for the low and for cheap. And on my skin, I get 5 hours, which is actually really good for a very, very cheap mass-produced freshie. So I do recommend you get this from Zara. It's cheap and it actually does smell pretty good, but it's not Imagination. Last but certainly not least, Essence de Blanc. I actually had this fragrance for a while and I really only got it because I wanted to see if it was in the clone of Imagination. And I've had Imagination twice. And it's been a minute since I sprayed this, so we're going to actually revisit this and see if it actually is a great clone. As you can see, that's how long it's been I haven't sprayed it. But let's get a whiff of it. Now, first thing you're going to get is a blast of alcohol. So the notes on this is orange, bergamot, citruses, petitgrain, ginger, mint, spicy notes, flowers, aquatic notes, and ambergris. So this one here is a little bit darker version than Imagination. Let's get a quick smell of Imagination. Yeah, definitely. This is a little bit darker. This honestly, as it dries down, this is the closest thing to Imagination that I've smelled. This is about 95% there. I think because it's missing the citron and they replaced it with citrus notes, it's probably a mix of bergamot, orange, blood orange to kind of like mimic some type of citrus. And it has the tea, but the tea is like weirdly put there. I don't even think that's the reason why they even have it as a note breakdown. But one of the closest things, it is a more masculine version of Imagination. But I would say for you to get it, but you can't find it. It took me like a month to find that doggone thing. And like when I did find it, people didn't want to take their hands off of it because it's regarded as one of the first clones to really have a great grasp on that DNA. Close enough that if you were to go in Louis Vuitton, I wouldn't be shocked if people, be fooled by it, because Imagination smells different on some people's skin's pH thing, you feel me? So I think this is really, really good. It's gonna be the closest thing you're gonna get, but it's gonna be hard to find. So yeah. Based off of this list, I honestly would say for everyone to go and get Haramain's Aqua Dubai. The reason being is because it's like having Mont Blanc Explorer and Creed. They both smell great. They have a similar DNA structure without being exactly the same. I have yet to find a great one-to-one of Imagination. Sad to say, the search is still going to continue, but I do have an alternative to Imagination that I think will work with a lot of people. One of my favorite tea fragrances is Tea for Two by, L'Artisan's Parfumeurs. It smells amazing. It is a great, great tea-forward fragrance that is incredibly masculine. It's like warm, inviting Earl Grey tea. The only problem with this is longevity. So overspray it. But the problem is if you do overspray it, it's gonna be rough for like the first 10 minutes, but it would last longer after that. But this is a great alternative to imagination. If you can't afford it, again, it's not trying to be imagination, but I like shouting out different fragrances that I think are great, that should be highly regarded just like imagination. I appreciate everybody coming back and rocking with the channel. Like I said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna be talking more fragrances. We're gonna be talking newer releases that are coming out in 2025. Let me know at the bottom if there are any fragrances that y'all would love for me to talk about, especially new things coming out. I'm really hard down looking for the Aqua de Gero's Elixir because y'all know Parfumeur is my favorite, and I hope they don't jack up a new release, but it seems like there's been a lot of jacking up being done lately. But I love the fact that y'all came and rocked with me one more time with Rani Fragrances. Oh, special announcement here. I am now an affiliate of one of my favorite fragrance websites for discounters. That's fragrancelord.com. So I'm an affiliate for Joma and Fragrance Lord. Fragrance Lord have some of the most lowest prices when it comes to these fragrances. But because they keep their prices so low, they run out of stock quickly. So I need you to make sure when you're looking for a fragrance, go to it, check out Fragrance Lord first. And I'm gonna show you all my favorite fragrance that I've gotten from Fragrance Lord. This is my wife's favorite fragrance on me. It's just absolutely amazing. Van Cleef & Arpels Incense Per X. It is a beautiful fragrance, dark resonance, a little bit of leather, a little bit of sweetness. It is amazing fragrance that gets so much better with time. And I do think that this is amazing. If y'all want me to talk about it, let me know below. But this is Rani Fragrances. I will see y'all on the next one.